Hello, everyone. Welcome to the interview with Roberto Abril, Spanish theologian and active participant in social media. Sometimes I don't agree with his thoughts, but it's really interesting that today we can talk about it. Let's begin the conversation. Welcome, Roberto.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, Maritza? Todo bien. Vamos a ver cómo nos
Oh,
desenvolvemos con poquitito tiempo.
okay. Let's try to make the talking in English for my class,
Oh,
all
okay.
class
I will.
640. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, in in the I sent Roberto a text talk about the Spanish journalist Juan Soto Ibar called Network Burn, Post Censorship and the New Virtual War. So to ask a question to the audience, I want to ask you the same question. How many times did you have delete a post for fear of censorship?
Well, I don't believe I am. I, I I believe if censor myself, it's because sometimes I have received from Facebook a suspension for any thing I have said.
Mhm.
But I don't have. I barely have a feedback from Facebook telling me what was the violations that they say I did. So I don't know what really happened. So what I try to do is that um, is to be very careful in the way I put things, and sometimes what I do is counterbalance them. So in case something is being said that it could be like taken by like offensive,
Mhm.
it shouldn't be taken like that because what I wanted to do is to open with a balanced statement uh, a conversation, which is pretty rare sometimes because people in the internet, it, not all people, many people in the internet, they don't use language or they don't use expressions uh, that are conducive for a deeper reflection. So when I when I decide not to put something, it's because I believe maybe some people are going to take it in the wrong way, but most of the time I take chances because I prefer somebody react negatively than not no no reaction at all.
So
And that
have you been blocked by Facebook for any post that you have
yeah
sent?
yeah I have been but not that much 1 week or 3 days 2 days things like that 4 or 5
Do,
times.
do they tell you the reason of the for you to
Never
be
they never tell the reason. They give a vague things like you are not able to use this or that. And so and you're gonna be canceled for 20 hours, 16 hours, whatever. So I just say okay, I do other things. Oh, but I
okay?
try.
Mhm. That's what the reason that I bring Juan Soto Ibar because he wrote a book, The Hangman's House: How Taboo Suffocate Western Democracy, published recently in June 2021. He just published the book. And the book analyzes the effects of the culture on sentimentality and free speech and the most alarming manifestation of the social media era. What can you tell us about social media fake news? Do you think that you have been blocked because it was a fake news?
Well, I don't know. Fake news is like a game of mine. I think there are professional psychologists behind fake news. And it's not just a matter of some kids in some place preparing fake news. I think it's a well organized way to try to confuse people and to make people think that what is sort of fiction or something that is rejected socially or unwelcome to be ascribed to a person or to organization or to people with the intention to make other people look bad at them and embrace the other group or the adversary group. And that is very touchy. And some people really believe the fake news as true news. And it's very hard to try to make them think or revise their own thinking. Uh, and they immediately, or some of them, try to cover themselves saying, oh, that's conspiracy theory. And there is many different ways of, of, of shading things in a way that they can believe they are in control or wanted to make me believe they are in control or know better than I know about the reality of that what is being discussed. So I have some I have a friend who is a teacher, professor in science, and when I presented him some information about certain subjects, he tended to look in a way that he wanted to discard them, and I was offering him that he didn't have any right reason to discard them because he has not evaluated and not even seen the information, and
That's
he
what I
makes.
bring to my third topic that is related to this, to social media engagement from the article Why We Can Stop Fighting About Cancel Culture by Aha Romano. He described cancel culture as a mob mentality or a long overdue way of speaking through to power. You
Well,
mentioned you mentioned exactly that. So that sometimes people want to cancel you for your thoughts, and this is really dangerous because you are actually posting your thoughts and research on social media. Are you afraid of the cancel culture of this era?
well, I don't believe I should be afraid of it. I have some apprehension sometimes, but not afraid because I think I'm able to stand the ground and defend reasonably ideas. I have been trained in working with ideas, and I keep always all my life working and keeping and better myself how to use ideas, especially in the context of arguments, discussions, um, because I was trained in philosophy and I was trained in theology. So there are two subjects very deep in working with ideas. So when I feel some people are putting me aside for certain ideas, I use different strategies. So cancel culture for me is not like, we don't want to listen to you because you're lying, or we don't want to listen to any of the products that you have because we want to harm you. I don't feel that. What I say is, look, there are reference books that you can use are very good. Most of the time when I refer a book is because I've read the book and and I gave them a synopsis of the book, so they will know that I know the book, not just saying this is the title. I just give a synopsis of the book or the author, and if they understand information, they need to respect that I am taking the subject seriously, and the exchange of idea should stand as a respectful stand of what the other person is and what I am. So if I see the person going deeper and say, well, I wanted to check the book, I say, well, maybe that's okay, but maybe he's not really wanted to check it. He wanted to say that he's going to check it. How I know it? Because at the end, I'm going to get if I have a comment about certain things that they wanted to question. And if they don't question anything, and they haven't read anything, so I know their silence is It's a silence for them to to hide themselves.
Okay. So
There.
closing with the book and with this idea of cancel culture, I want to give you an example of the idea that the person can be canceled. And this is according to this book, Hangman's House by Juan Soto Ibar. Uh, in other words, culturally blocked from having a prominent public platform or career. This is the case of Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. She faced intense criticism from her own fans since she began to voice transphobic beliefs, making her one of the most prominent cancel individuals in the center culture that I mentioned before. But curiously, during the same period of time that she was in this cancel culture point of view and attack, her book in June 2020 increased tremendously. So, is this beneficial for the author being the target of cancel culture?
Well, I read the story that he places there, and also I did my own research, and I read about 3 or 4 um, mass media, no mass media news and covering and different people criticizing her, whatever. But I what I felt was like she's a real lady. She is very she is very well articulated, and
Mhm.
what she said was not to be uh, unjustly taken, because she was trying to present herself as a person, and the cancel culture was trying to mute her, to silence her, and to punish her. And I believe if there is one of the person that has so much integrity as an author, I think it's she. She's
Yes.
she's she write she write fiction, but but she dwells in reality.
Thank you for your time and your constant support to my project. There is something else that you would like to talk about the social engagement to my classmates?
Well, what I would say is that we all need to engage culture from the point of rights, duties, and dignity. And when we lose sight of those 3 aspects, in some way or another, we are violating the, the human person.
Yes,
And
yes,
we have to be very, very, very respectful, but at the same time engaging without any fear that when we think some ideas are important, we should know them good enough to defend them with uh, solid ideas, because ideas
exactly,
matters. Ideas matters, and people sometimes don't believe ideas matters, and that is the
exactly. And this is when we want to close. Ideas matter. And thank you. We can talk for hours about this topic. We have a limited time, but thank you so much, Roberto, for your intervention. Ideas matter. Yes. And we have to respect those ideas. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
take care.